Hey folks, today we've got a little bit different. I'm coming at you from my office, which is exciting to have an office again, but that's beside the point. Today we're talking to Finky again, and Finky is going to tell us what it is like to be on a movie set. Many of us would love to be able to do FPV for a living. He actually does FPV for a living. And it is not exactly like what you would think. There's a whole lot of hurry up and wait. He films a lot on movie sets, and it's a pretty awesome thing. I'll let him explain it in his own words. One thing I wanted to talk to you about is, thank you for the response to the Patreon. I do have a Patreon. If you'd like to, give a dollar a month to support what I do here, that would be great. I would also love it if you would like, subscribe, and comment, because that obviously helps drive these videos further. So without further ado, we're going to let Finky talk, and I will see you guys soon. Bye. So you started out as a creative,
Yep.
and conceived of these ideas that people were going to shoot. Then you discovered FPV.
Mm-hmm.
When did you make the break from being the creative to being an FPV, and what does that look like now?
So basically, I kind of got lucky and unlucky at the same time. When I discovered FPV, I had been in the same company for a long time, working for mainly Nissan as my main client, and having and creating €1 million budget videos for them, where you just go to Morocco and shoot something with a pickup and a snowmobile in the middle of the desert, stuff like that. And then I was kind of getting bored of just having one client, so I moved to another agency called BBDO, and it was actually my very first agency that I got into, and where I got the Finky from, actually, the nickname.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back there, but it turns out it was not exactly the same anymore. It turns out companies change after 4 or 5 years. And it was not the right fit. We thought it would be, and then it was not. So I just left again to go to, after 5 months. And then I went to a Facebook page. And I was the first employee of a very big Facebook page dedicated to creativity in France. And after 2 months, I was working as a creative director, and after 2 months, the guys kind of got spooked out, because in France, you can after some point, after the trial period, you can't fire the person anymore, ever. For certain types of contract, you just the person can literally come every day after that and be like, I'm not going to be working today, but I'm going to look at you, and you're going to have to pay me, because as long as I'm here and I show up every day, you can't fire me. So yeah, that's a big thing, and they got scared for that, and I was their first time employee, so I understand, and they let me go, and then so since after that, I applied to another agency that is one of the biggest in France, called BETC, and I applied to them. And but the recruitment process was very, very long, and it took actually 5 months. And while I was waiting, because they let me know that I had a very good chance of being hired, because they wanted to hire me before I even went to the other one, and they were kind of salty that I went to the Facebook page they wanted to hire me already. So they were like, yeah, we're going to hire you for sure. And meanwhile, while I was waiting, I decided to do a lot more of shoots and stuff, because I had just had the equivalent of my Part 107, and it was always kind of in the back of my mind, hey, I can also do drone stuff, and not just FPV, but also Mavic stuff and all that. So I started doing this, and when they came back to me, they said well, it was a Friday, and they were like, well, can you start on Monday? I was like, well, I have 3 weeks of shoots now that are planned. So they were like, well, is it 3 weeks nonstop, or do you have little breaks here and there? And I was like, well, yeah, I've got like little breaks. And they were like, well, then you come work for us as a freelancer for the 3 weeks, and you go to your shoots, no problem. And then after the 3 weeks, we hire you full time. And I was like, okay, cool. But at the time, I had gotten involved with like the drone company that I work with now, and for them it was a big disappointment. They were like, oh man, like too bad. Like we really thought you would give it a chance all the time, I mean for full time and stuff. And I was like, well, I mean, the job safety that this can offer me is really important. And then like as the weeks went by, I went to the shoots, and the more I went to the shoots, the less I wanted to go and work in this office, because I just realized that I was having so much fun doing this, and the other was kind of like what I've always been doing, and which was okay, but it was not different. It was not anywhere as exciting as what I was doing, and I felt like I had an opportunity to make something great happen. So on the last week of the shoot, I just like really thought about it, and the day before I was supposed to enroll full time at this advertising agency, I just called them and said, hey, I'm not coming tomorrow. I'm not going to be coming. And it was kind of it was a very unpleasant phone call to have. And just like letting them down like that on the day before. But it's a big company. They're gonna find someone, no problem. Everyone dreams of going there. People would kill to do it, so they'll find someone easily. But my life, I just get one chance of doing it right. So I felt like that was the right moment. And from that time, like I did that, and the next day, one of my videos got super viral. It did 10 million views, like across like the different shared accounts that posted it, and just right after that, I started landing jobs in FPV, not just doing Inspire or Mavic stuff, but also FPV. And now I do it full time, just FPV mostly. I do the occasional Mavic shoot or Inspire shoot, but it's so rare that my main source of income is FPV now.
That is amazing. God, I mean, there's so many parts of that story that are so good. So I see the ring.
Oh yeah.
Are you married?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay. So what does the conversation with your spouse look like?
Oh, I should have like mentioned it actually, because that last week when I was shooting, and I called her and babe, like I really want to do that full time, and what do you think? Like, because on one side we had a super safe like job thing, also very easy to get an apartment after, get a loan, whatever, because like French government the French system only values stuff that is like set in stone, like that. And on the other side we had this like risk, and she told me, you can do it as long as when you're gonna be a lot less here at home with me, but as long as when you're here at home you're actually here with me mentally as well, I'm okay with it. Because I was already like doing a lot of videos and like spending time editing and everything. So she said, as long as you're here when you're here, then I'm happy with it. It's fine. And like she supported me, and she actually is the one that told me, yeah, go for it, you should. And here we are.
That's awesome. That's a good woman.
Yeah.
So what about how long ago, what's the timeline here? How long ago was that?
Oh, that was in November. Okay,
so from November until now, you've been pretty much full-time FPV.
Yeah.
And does it I haven't seen any of your early journeys, like what things looked like when you started. Like when you first started flying FPV, did you think, man, I want this to be my job, or was it just a cool hobby?
No, it was a cool hobby that turned into making like little videos, that turned into a vlog because I was getting frustrated that the French community didn't have the spotlight that they deserved, in my opinion, because of mostly the language barrier. And I thought, well, I speak English, so I could be like this kind of like bridge between. I can close this gap between the rest of the world and the French community, and kind of make it work together and show like the amazing people that we have, the talents, like the raw talents that we have, and the spots and everything. And so I started doing the vlog, and after a while, this vlog is how I got like the first really big video that I got, and then from that I started getting paid jobs, and from the paid jobs I'm getting the other paid jobs, and now it's a kind of a circle where I do something cool, and then people see it, and then they call me for another like something cool, and then another one, and it just like builds up like that.
So what's your go ahead.
I don't remember whether it was on the show or not, but someone mentioned like a snowball. Oh no, it was on another on a podcast from like Fly Life Co. And I think it was Andy Gabber that was explaining that like it's kind of like a snowball, and I really agree with that. It's like a little like ball. I mean, when you start a snowball, it's like so small, and then you just like roll it. It's like making a snowman basically. You just like roll it, and it starts gaining traction and picks up other stuff, and then if you keep on like pushing it, at some point you end up with like something massive. And it's literally like that. It's like a big grind that you just like slowly push in, but if you keep like slowly pushing, eventually it will get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, like that's how it works to me.
I was going to say, it sounds like you are able to draw a lot of value out of all the exposure that you've already gotten. How much of what you think you like when you put out like say the longboarding video, did that draw more business in?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Because of just one shot, even. I mean, just the shot where the guy grabs Lotfi grabs the camera and kind of looks at it, knocks, and we take off again. Just from that shot, I got like 3 business opportunities, I think.
Wow.
Because people were like, "Hey, it's so cool. I've never seen that. Can you do it again, like in a different scenario, or would you?" And sometimes they would ask me that, but eventually we would end up doing something completely different. And yeah, like it definitely brings, like every time it brings something, but you never know what it's going to bring. Like sometimes you think it's going to bring you so much business, but it's actually not going to bring you shit. So yeah, it's just that you just have to do your best, and then you see what comes up, basically.
Was the when he grabbed the drone and tapped it, effectively broke the fourth wall, if you will. Was that planned, or was that just a momentary, he just reached up and tapped it?
Oh no, that was absolutely planned. It was, okay. I mean, he like kept on, while we were flying, he kept on doing some fun stuff with it, like always like trying to play with it. And to me, like that's what cine whoops are about. That's when I shot this video, I had just found out that we could grab the cine whoop, we could push it, we could do all kinds of stuff with it, like send it to the side, like you can just have it like hovering and like having someone just like comment and like just send it to the side or like push it back, and I felt like this is the coolest thing ever, because now we've got a flying camera and you can play with it. Like you can literally just like grab it and have someone have like an actual like interaction, have this like interaction with it. And I thought it was a really, really powerful thing. And I actually posted like some test videos on the Cine Whooper Facebook group, where like me and my friends would like start trying like different shots where we'd grab it to the side, do that, or like push it. And then while we were doing that, I was like, okay, just play with it, like have fun. And at some point, he was like, I just want to grab it. Like I don't want to push it. I want to like grab it and look at it. We're like, cool, let's try it out. And we tried it out, and it worked. And we
awesome.
tried it like 5 times, I think, before we actually landed that shot. But yeah.
So, what does a shoot look like for you?
It's
do
always
you it's always different? Are you?
Yeah.
Is it just you, or are there more people that come with you?
It depends on what the shoot is.
Okay.
Some shoots you go to, and it's like a whole like production with maybe like 50 people working there, and you're just like this massive. You're part of this like massive system, and you have to be like a like gear that would just like run smoothly because everything is like like interdependent. So if you are like that like gear that just isn't like turning right, you're gonna mess up the whole system. So you have to be ready. You have to have everything just like perfect set and just kind of make it work. And sometimes you're doing everything. So you're just like you and one guy that you came to shoot, and maybe another guy that's like watching or like spotting or something.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go from very small to stuff where there's catering and all kinds of stuff. So every shoot is different.
Okay. I've been part of a couple shoots, but they were always like church stuff or something like that.
Okay.
So I've never been to a full scale big video production. It sounds kind of intimidating.
Yeah, it is. You have to know the dynamic of that kind of stuff. And I think like being a professional drone pilot is not even just about the flying on its own. It's about understanding and knowing that dynamic. There's a way to speak to a director. There's a way. Sometimes you can't even speak to the director directly because you're going to mess up the whole thing if you do that. And sometimes you have to understand where you stand and what's your place in this whole system, because you can really mess up the vibe. You can create confusion. You can make everyone waste time. So yeah, it's actually 50% of the job is just knowing this kind of stuff.
So how do you just get that experience by being on set?
Yeah, pretty much. And also just, I haven't been on sets for 6 years before that. I already know the dynamic. I know, how to speak to a director. I know like what to expect from certain types of shoots and the different sizes, and where there's opportunity for you, where you should shut up as well, because sometimes you really want to get the shot and to you it's not working properly, but for this guy it's actually fine. So you should just shut up, and if he's happy with it, it's his shoot. So even if you're not happy with it, it doesn't matter, because you're going to make everyone waste time on that if you just push it. So yeah, you always have to kind of know where your place is, and it's always different.
Now, when you're on one of these big shoots, are you handing off a pair of goggles to somebody that's like vetting your video?
I usually bring all my own gear, and I bring my own screen that I set up for everyone to see. So that way they can. Sometimes they don't even want to look at the screen. Sometimes they just look at the quad and they imagine. I don't know how they do it. But they're just like, oh yeah, you got the shot. I'm like, no, you have to look at the screen though, because you saw me really close, but maybe I wasn't that close. Maybe it doesn't look that close. But yeah, like sometimes they look at the screen. Sometimes I don't know what the fuck they're doing while I've got the goggles on. But that's that's part of the fun.
So what kind of, like, let's say you're going to a pretty big shoot, big set. What would you bring in terms of gear?
All right, I bring at least 3 quads, identical. So I've got one of my quads that is it's this one. This one has like mint condition everything. So it has mint motors. It's pretty much brand new every time I fly with it. It's got like It's got like a little mount at the bottom in case I need to put fusion, stuff like that. And then I've got two other identical ones that are more of like beta quads that I fly on the regular at bendos and stuff, but still I make sure that there's no vibrations on these as well. So I bring three quads. If I'm shooting for a cine whoop situation, I bring two cine whoops. Sometimes I bring the three quads and the cine whoops and a Mavic too as well, because sometimes they ask you to do some crazy shot that you can't do otherwise, like just back up and get elevation at the same time. You can do that with your FPV quad, right? And they're like, no, and they're like, why? There's just
I don't want to kill anybody.
It just doesn't. You can't really back up, go up, and like the camera angle won't work. And they're like, what? But I'm like, you know what? Just let me do it with the Mavic. I'll do it, and it's like 2 minutes. But yeah, like so yeah, I bring like all this. I bring my charger, about 12 to 15 batteries in general, but I rarely use more than 8. But I've got everything. I've got another like spare battery for the radio, spare battery for the goggles, a set of goggles. I'm hoping soon I'll get 2 pairs of goggles, so that every time I bring the 2 spares. I bring a whole quad that's in parts as well, just in case I need to change something real quick. And I bring the screen, and yeah, that's it pretty much, I think. Yeah, so it's got a bit of gear.
Yeah,
but that's the absolute minimum.
Okay, that's the minimum.
I wouldn't go with less than 2 perfectly identical quads.
So there it is. There's Finky. There's him talking about being on a movie set. And quite honestly, it sounds super intimidating to me. I don't know that I would want to do that. I'm sure, with time you would get used to it, but it definitely is it sounds like a big thing. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. There will be one more coming out where we talk about French FPV culture, which is something that Finky is super passionate about. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.